Berlin, 1852. The room is smoky, filled with the quiet tension of a chess cafe. Two men sit across the board, Adolf Anderssen, the towering genius of romantic chess, and Jean Dufresne, a strong German master. This game would not just be another skirmish between friends, it would become immortalized as the evergreen game, a dazzling display of sacrifices, precision, and beauty. The opening, calm before the storm. White begins with pawn to e4, claiming the center and opening lines for his queen and bishop. The most classic of beginnings, a declaration of ambition. Black answers with e5, symmetrical and solid. The battlefield is set, equal ground, equal opportunity. The knight leaps to f3, already pointing at the pawn on e5. Every great attack begins with small steps like this. Black's knight rises to c6, defending and reinforcing control of the center. Now, White brings his bishop to c4, a familiar Italian idea, staring at the weakest square in Black's camp, f7. A predator has spotted its prey. Black mirrors, bishop to c5. Both players are eyeing each other's kings. The symmetry feels calm, but beneath it lurks danger. And suddenly, White strikes, pawn to b4, the Evans gambit. This is not a quiet game. Anderssen offers a pawn as bait, saying, "Take it, and see what happens." Black takes the pawn. Why not? Extra material never hurt anyone, right? But now White pushes c3, chasing the bishop back while opening the center. Momentum shifts instantly. The bishop retreats to a5, still holding pressure on the diagonal, but Black is already behind in speed. And here comes d4, blasting open the center. White wants everything: space, tempo, initiative. Black captures with the e-pawn. He is holding on to material, but White has gained a lead in development. White castles. The king is safe, and the rook is ready to leap into action. In romantic chess, castling early wasn't about safety, it was about attacking faster. But then, Black pushes d3. An odd and greedy move. A pawn is advanced deep, but it becomes isolated, weak, and perhaps even a liability. White immediately responds with queen to b3. A powerful double threat. She stares at f7, the Achilles heel, and also targets the advanced pawn on d3. The queen arrives like a storm cloud, but Black finds the only move, queen to f6. One precise defense that miraculously covers both weak spots. A heroic stand for now. White pushes e5, attacking the queen again, kicking her backward. The queen slides to g6, still holding on to key squares, but she's already on the run. Now the rook comes to e1. Another attacker joins. White's army is growing, piece by piece, but Black plays knight to e7, a calm and strong defensive resource. For now, the king remains guarded. The middle game, sparks ignite. White develops his bishop to a3, hunting down Black's defender on e7. Black replies with b5, but this is too careless. A pawn push that weakens instead of strengthens. The punishment is immediate, queen captures on b5. White regains material, and the initiative is still his. Black swings rook to b8, lunging at the queen. But White retreats smoothly to a4, keeping pressure alive. Black tries to block with bishop to b6, but this is too passive. The pieces are starting to suffocate. White calmly develops another knight to d2. Every attacker is inching closer to the front lines. Black pushes his bishop to b7, aiming at the long diagonal, but again, it's too slow. White has already built up momentum. The knight lunges forward to e4. From here it eyes f6 and g5, the pressure growing unbearable. Black's queen tries to hold the line, sliding to f5. But it's the wrong square, a fatal misstep. White captures the pawn with bishop takes d3. He recovers his material and places another piece in the center. The queen shifts to h5, now staring at White's kingside. But it's only a gesture. White is ready to unleash thunder. The tactical storm. And then, the move that shocks the room. Knight to f6+. A brilliant sacrifice. White throws away a knight to rip Black's defenses apart. Black takes the knight. Of course, what else? But already the king's shelter is shattered. The pawn recaptures to f6. Now white's pawn stands like a dagger pointed at the heart of black's king. Black fights back with rook to g8, the only defense against immediate disaster. The rook now guards the g-file, but Anderssen doesn't flinch. He plays rook to d1, calmly doubling pressure on the open file. He isn't rushing, he is constructing a masterpiece. And then black makes the move that dooms him, queen takes f3. Greed. In the middle of a raging storm, he plucks a pawn, thinking he can survive. The sacrificial cascade. Anderssen slams down rook to e7. Sacrifice number 2. The rook hurls itself into the fire, forcing open the king's last refuge. Black takes with the knight, forced, but disastrous. And now comes the immortal strike, queen to d7 plus, the queen's sacrifice. White throws away his most powerful piece, knowing the king will be lured into the open. The king captures. He has no choice, but now he is in the middle of the board, naked and alone. Bishop to f5 plus, check. Another piece joins with tempo, slicing off the king's escape. The king stumbles back to e8, but the net is closing. Bishop to d7 plus, relentless pressure. Each move drives the king deeper into the trap. The king flees to f8, his last square of hope. But it's already over. And with one final stroke, bishop takes e7 checkmate. The two bishops, working together, end the battle. The board is littered with white sacrifices, 2 rooks, a knight, even his queen, all gone, all burned away in the fire of creativity. And yet, with just 2 bishops and a humble pawn, Anderssen delivers one of the most beautiful checkmates in history. Notice what happened. Anderssen gave up everything, knight, queen, pawns, all to open lines and bring his bishops to their perfect positions. The 2 bishops, like crossing beams of light, delivered the final blow to the black king. This is chess poetry, showing that initiative and piece activity can outweigh material advantage. For us, this is a reminder, chess is not only a strict science where cold calculation rules. It is also an art, where courage, sacrifice, and imagination can break through any defense. The evergreen game proves that beauty can be greater than the result, and that is why chess is called the game of kings. And perhaps the most astonishing part, more than 170 years have passed, yet we still discuss this combination as if it were played yesterday. That is true immortality in chess.